We're at the dig site, and over here you can see sort of one of the holes we dug. And I'll show you the whole thing as we march along. This is one of our picks here that we're using to pick. And here is Bunk, the lead prospector guy who's walking us through it all. Hey Bunk.
Yes, sir.
And down here we have Oro, his trusty dog. And over here we have John and other prospector Calvin. And in front of Calvin is what's known as a dry washer. We're going to see the dry washer working soon as John begins to fill it up with all this dirt which we just got from this hole over here. We've been working a riverbed for the last 4 to 5 days, and at the bottom of it you can see like there's a waterfall and a gully over here, and we'll walk you through in a little bit and show you. Actually, just before you fire it up, I'm just going to walk through so the folks can see the whole gully. Down here you can see all rock. All this rock down here is rock that we've dug up over the last 4 days and have put behind us as we dug. Here's the smartest of the bunch. This is Oro. You can see Oro's the only one in the shade right now. As we march along, you can get a sense and appreciation for all the digging we did. See there, all the way up there, we did our digging. You can see down in the hole here, all the digging we've done. We've been filling it in. See that boulder over there? That's a big, heavy boulder. I pulled that out with an iron bar. And now we're going to see a bit of the operation going on shortly. John's putting up the screen. They're just priming the dry washer now, which is powered by a gasoline powered motor, like a reverse vacuum system. And you can see as John starts to put the material through the dry washer, it's kind of cool how it's all working. You can see it kicks up a fair amount of dust over here as it works away. What happens with the dry washer is you feed the material through the top, and then you just sort of push the rocks off the top as it goes along, and then the material goes into the bottom tray, and the gold usually catches itself in the bottom tray there, usually right at the top of the bottom tray. And you can see John continuing to shovel. Right now it's going to go above 90 today, so it's a really hot day. Right now it's about 9:30 in the morning, so we've been at it for about 2 hours so far. We dig out of holes like this hole over here. You can see my shadow. We dig through holes like this hole over here. We throw it through this screen, which helps to discriminate out the larger pieces of boulder and stuff, which will metal detect later. And we continue to just throw this sand up into the machine over there, and every once in a while we sort of just use the shovel to knock the bigger pieces off the top level. And you can see the dust on it. It's not too windy right now, so the dust isn't super crazy, but the dust is happening. You can see the motor over there, and later on we'll show you some of the gold we found today. Okay, at this stage we're just finishing our second run of materials on our last day, our 5th day, and we're just shutting off the motor now. And at this point all the heavier materials, including some gold, has hopefully settled on the lower tray, which Calvin is taking out right now, and he's giving it a shake. Oh, what's that? That's a piece of yellow flour. Which ain't quite doing it for us, but it did cause a second of excitement. At this point,
I don't see nothing.
We're all sort of coming close. We're all sort of coming close now and checking it all out. But we're not seeing anything at this time. Now we're dumping it all into our concentrate bucket, and we're going to go down to the wet washer, and we'll continue the film at the wet washer, where you see how we use water to try and separate the gold from the aggregate material that we have in the concentrate bucket. So we'll continue to pick it up down at the wet washer. So at this point, what we have here is our concentrate from our first two sort of digs from the morning. So we ran 2 piles of stuff through the dry washer, and at this point we're going to take what's left from that and what collected at the bottom tray. John's getting a good look at that here. We're going to take that and we're going to shake it into the screener. I probably should have done that in multiple steps, but I threw it in at once. And then you go like that, you shake your material down. And what stays in here,
do it like on the ground like that.
And what stays in here, we dump out, and then we go over it with a metal detector later in case we have a big nugget. Take a look in here right now. See if we find any nuggets in here. We keep finding these yellow flowers, which get us quite excited. But alas, it's a flower. We're looking in here now. We're not very good at spotting, but on first glance here, we don't see anything. At first glance, we don't see any gold in here. Oh, what's this? What's that? What's that? That's a piece of yellow, but it's not gold. And now we're going to start up the wet washer. This over here is the wet washer. Once again, this has a mat. Water's going to come down here. We're going to drop the material at the top of the mat, and then it's going to come. The non-gold material is going to go down, and what we'll collect up here will be gold and lead. Potentially things can settle on the lower level, but that's rare to happen. Usually wherever it falls, it stays. So now with Bunk's help, we're going to start this up and start shoveling the material in.
Check our bubble.
So we give it a minute or two, make sure that the water level's even, and then we start to dump in our material, and then we hope to find some gold. The Bunk's telling us it's good to dump the material in, and here we go. We're looking for gold to collect up at the top. So we'll dump a few shovelfuls to let you guys see what it looks like. So at this point, we've just run our material, and we're letting the water run a bit more, and we're going to check our matting soon. So we're going to shut off the battery at this point.
And you got one piece right here.
Right, Calvin?
Somebody is creating a shadow.
Right here.
Is that a piece?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can see it from here. Wow. So now we're checking the matting at a high level, and we can see there is some gold in the matting
Where's
itself.
it at, Calvin? Okay.
Is that a piece?
No.
Okay.
Right there. That's a piece from the ES.
So we've got some gold happening. And now we're going to, now Bunk is going to take it, he's going to run it through the pan. He's going to bring it over to gold pan, turning it over, giving it a shake. We're in the desert and there's not a lot of water, so a lot of bugs are attracted to the water. Now we're going to watch bunk pan this out, and we're going to see pretty soon how much gold we have. Hey Bunk, you want to speak to what you're doing right now?
Right now we're stratifying the material, getting all the heavies down to the very bottom. And now we'll shut everything in the bottom, and we just wash the top off. See the black sand showing through now? We'll take and pull it back and re-stratify it. And continue just washing the top layer off. And the gold should be right down at the very bottom.
You can see that piece soon.
Got several little pieces in here.
So this little amount over here represents over 2 hours of digging soil and moving rocks and throwing it into the dry washer, and then bringing it down here and working it through the wet washer, and then having Bunk do the final panning for us. And so here's what the result's starting to look like. Often with the gold, you'll have this black sand. Black sand is a heavy material just like gold. We're using the weight of the gold to separate it from the rest of the materials.
You got a nice little picker right here. And some other fine gold.
And that was the picker that we saw in the tray there.
Mm-hmm. Look at the magnet over there.
So right now Bunk's using a magnet to remove some of the magnetic black sand. Not a bad run.
No.
I didn't think we'd get that much.
I
didn't either. Okay, at this point we'll snuffer it all up.
Can we pick up the picker and drop her in here?
Yeah.
We have a little jar here with a number of our pickers that we've picked up on this trip.
That's about it for pickers.
And there we go. And there we go. That's 2.5 hours of work. And we're quite happy with the results. Here we are. We're down using the metal detector now.
We've now adjusted the threshold.
Waiting with the adjusted threshold to see if our digging is bringing up any gold that previous people were not able to find with their metal detectors, because now we've dug down a little deeper. Now some metal detectors will go down 6 inches or more, so a lot of this area has probably already been covered by metal detectors, but no, we're still going to check out our hole and see what we can find. There's a bit of noise there. We'll knock a bit of dirt into the hole, see if what comes up here. Maybe some iron here. We'll have to see. go back and forth and do crosses. Monk's taught us to do that.